Today's NDE involves a man who is led to the other side by a spiritual being where he communicates with his dead wife and Jesus Christ before coming back. Hi and welcome back to Beyond Death, where we examine cases of people who claim that they have visited the afterlife. If this is your first visit to the channel, please tap that subscribe button below. It is free to do and helps our channel grow. Thank you. Let's get into it. In 2012, my wife died of an aneurysm in her sleep, leaving me and our 4-year-old son alone to continue life on earth without her. She and I had been together since junior high school, and she was my best friend, as well as the love of my life. After spiraling out of control, I had begun drinking excessively. Her parents finally stepped in and took custody over their grandson. It was really the best thing they could have done. I had lost all semblance of clear thinking by this point, and no longer cared if I lived or died. I had, in fact, on more than one occasion, begged God to take me as well. At a time when I should have been doing everything possible to protect our son, I was not even able to protect myself, and the only enemy was my own thoughts. I'm not trying to justify my actions at this time in my life. I'm also not trying to hide anything. I became useless without my wife, and I knew it. So when her parents petitioned the courts for custody, I chose not to fight. At that time, my thinking was that it was for the best, as I could drink myself to death faster if it was only me in the home. I know now that my logic was anything but logical, but I was determined to die as well. I watched my life spiral out of control, and even though parts of me wanted to stop it from happening, another part was just as eager to speed up the process. My boss had looked the other way when my drinking first started, but even he had to finally cut ties with me and leave me to my own fate. After drinking an abnormally large amount of beer one night, I took a few pills I found in the medicine cabinet. I'm not even sure what they were, nor did I care. I was soon beginning to doze off as things went black around me. The next thing I remember is being yanked to a standing position by a being of light. Startled, I swung a punch at this intruder to my home before it even registered that this being was made entirely of light. Of course, my punch either missed this entity or completely passed through it, and the momentum sent me spinning in a full circle. It was then that I saw my body still laying on the bed. I did not appear to be breathing based on the way a person's chest will rise and fall. Mine wasn't doing that. I ended up facing this being of light once more. What the? I began. I can't say that this being spoke back to me because it wasn't like speaking. It was more an exchange of information on another level, telepathically. "Come with me," was the answer I received back. Suddenly, this being and I were in a long tunnel traveling at a great speed. I was scared yet not scared at the same time. It's like I knew I was safe with this being, even though I had just been taken from my bedroom, while my body had been left behind laying lifeless on my bed. I can't even begin to say how long I was inside the tunnel. It seemed like it was fast, but it's so hard to judge time in a place where time does not exist. It could have been days for all I know. As we exited the tunnel, I found myself standing in a very big room. This room was rather plain. No table, chairs, no anything. I didn't even see a door in or out of this room, and turning back to face the direction I had entered from, I could no longer see the tunnel either. Everything was just white, very sanitary, as if it were the doctor's office, only without the weird smells that are found inside hospitals. At this point, the being of light instructed me to wait here, and it, since I do not know if it even had a gender, walked towards one of the walls before passing through as if there was no wall there at all. When the being re-entered, I was told, "They are ready for you now," and I was led back through this same wall the being had just passed through so easily. I was surprised when we passed through, making a mental note to myself that either I was dead or those pills I had taken were hallucinogens. "You are not dead, but this is quite real," the being said. Again, all communication was being done telepathically. Evidently, this being could also read my thoughts to myself as well. In the second room, There were two chairs that faced each other. In one sat my deceased wife, who immediately rose to greet me with a hug. The second chair was reserved for me. I cannot explain the joy I felt just from seeing her again. As she led me to my chair and had me sit, she began to communicate with me how she was sorry for the way she left me, but her job on earth had ended. She further told me that my job had just begun, and I would be returning to my body. I tried to protest this. I had no desire to leave her. I had just gotten her back. I even argued that it would be cruel to send me back after I had only just arrived, and how the struggles of earth were just too much without her by my side. It was then that a man entered and stood directly behind my wife. I could not make out his facial features, but something told me I was in the presence of Jesus. The man, whom I believe was Jesus, don't ask me why I believe that. It was just the first thought I had when he approached, so I'm going to go with that. It's kind of like just knowing something to be true and not having to be told. Anyway, this man, Jesus, told me that I had much left to do, and while he would not make me return, he would like to show me what my life would be like if I chose to continue my mission. As he said this, a screen appeared. On this screen, I saw myself in the near future going to a grief counselor, and I saw myself back at my old job. I appeared sober. I saw a few years later working on a car with my son, although he appeared to be a teenager by now. I saw a very beautiful woman walking into the garage and bringing us both something to drink. Judging from the way she and I interacted, I took this as being my future wife. That part made me feel awkward and ashamed until my wife spoke up saying, "It's fine. She is a good woman and she will help save you." I wasn't sure if she meant save my soul or save me from my own devices. After I had seen everything, I was still unsure about returning to Earth. Earth was full of pain and seemed hopeless still. What finally helped make up my mind to come back to life on Earth was my wife telling me that our son would need me to help guide him through the loss of his mother as well. In all my self-pity drunken antics, I had never once considered that I was not the only person who had lost someone. My son had lost his mother as well. No sooner than I made up my mind did I find myself back inside the tunnel heading back down to Earth. Awakening in my bed, I began to puke. I threw up until I was doubled over in cramps from dry heaves. I stopped drinking and started going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I did get my old job back. The wife's parents, however, did keep custody of my son for another 2 years to ensure the sobriety stuck. I do still struggle daily with being an alcoholic, and I know that just one drink could send me spiraling again. The woman from my future. Well, I met her a few years later at a theme park I had taken my son to. We have been married for 4 years now. I don't know why I was chosen to have a near-death experience. I don't know what purpose I still have to complete on Earth. I do know that life does exist beyond what any science can explain because I've seen it with my own eyes.